Greetings, everybody, and welcome to Midnight's Edge After Dark. It's the last mead of May. That's a lot of M's. In fact, the next mead we do, it'll be my birthday.
There's only 2 M's.
Whatever. Welcome back, Six. How you doing?
Fine.
Other than you need a nap. So you came to the perfect place.
Yay, Little Mermaid talk. Woo!
A little bit. We're going to do a Little Mermaid talk. Not a lot, but a little.
A little.
A little goes a long way.
Man, we're giving more attention to the Little Mermaid than any audience has. All week.
I know. Well, they keep bringing shit to our table, let's say. But welcome back, Six. It's been a while. We're glad to have you.
I was here last week.
Were you?
Yeah. It's okay.
You missed a day in there somewheres.
I know. Yeah, I always miss at least one.
And this last week for me feels like it's been going on for months. It's just been one thing after another. But we also have joining us Mr. Clobberin Times. How are you doing?
Oh, good, man. Thanks for having me. Good to see you all. Hello there, lovely Six, Script, CC, Tom. Thanks for having me here, buddy. And hello, chat, my good friends. Let us geek a bit tonight.
Indeed, we got some more people joining us. We got Mexican Iron Man. How you doing?
Having problems on Twitter, but hopefully you guys can help me fix that tonight.
Why are you having problems with Twitter?
Because I thought you could edit your post after you make a mistake.
No, you're a YouTuber.
No, I'm... Okay, welcome, Nick. We're going to talk about this later.
We're going to leave this on screen for the whole show.
What are you talking about?
There you go.
What?
For prestige.
Oh, shit. No, get that.
No, it's staying on there. It's staying on there. And as you pointed out, you said Nick. Nick is in the background. How you doing, Nick?
Get this contraband up
guys. What's going on? Good to be here. Hello, chat, mods, and hello to our excellent panel.
Oh,
yes, indeed. And thank you, Nick, because I got to watch Heartbreak Ridge last night, and I'm glad because I haven't seen it in a while.
Oh, cool,
dude. What fights? That's all I gotta say. What fights?
It's a great flick. Also joining us from Canada, we got a pair. It's a toonie. We got the Script Doctor. How you doing? Back again.
Doing well. Happy to be here this evening.
Glad to have you back. It's been too long. And we also have Mr. CC Karaoke.
Always happy to be here. I'm in the city for one more week, and I finished buying 4 months worth of groceries, so I'm gonna pack it in and go road tripping. But for right now, I'm still here.
Do Canadians take turns living in the city? Is that how it works?
Yeah, well, we have so much empty space up here, but the cities are a little more cramped.
How do you keep produce fresh for 4 months?
Well, it's always winter up here, so it's kind of freezes it.
It's true,
Just leave it
all you
outside,
have to do is put it outside, and it'll stay fresh forever. Most of the year, anyways.
Makes total sense.
I love frozen lettuce.
I'm not feeling comfortable on this panel right now.
Let us continue with this wonderful tweet here on the screen. Yet another reason I am a YouTuber. That's right.
Meant to say yet another reason I am not a YouTuber. And I thought I typed the word not, and then I looked away, and then I came back, and my Twitter started exploding, and then I realized, oh, shoot. And then I went to go change it.
I don't believe you.
And then I went to go change it, and then I couldn't edit it, and then I don't want to delete it because then I don't want to delete it because then I'll be one of those guys that we criticize all the time for deleting.
Are you kidding me? I delete tweets all the time.
Oh, you do? All right, I'm going to delete this one. Let me see how do I do it.
Well, I still got it for prestige here.
If you delete that one, it'll delete the follow-ups as well, including the one where you tried to correct yourself.
Did you take what? You didn't.
The only time I really delete a tweet is if I either get suckered in by some fake news bullshit, or something has changed and it's no longer relevant or something like that. Yeah.
Those people who know Mexican Iron Man will stand with Mexican Iron Man and will stand with my position that I'm not a YouTuber. So I trust the people. Yeah. I trust my friends on YouTube, and I trust everyone out there that you will stand united with me in this.
And you can't really edit
a Freudian slip.
Sorry. Yeah.
Yeah, and you can only edit certain types of tweets too, Mike. I don't think you can even edit like when you tweet to somebody, responding, yeah, I don't think you can.
Mikey, if you had gone to like a prestigious school or something, then
right,
then we wouldn't
like
be able to
Stanford.
forgive you. Yeah, but since you're Caucasian and everything, it'll be okay.
Yeah, what's up with this white power you got now, Mike?
What? What are you talking about? The white power? What white power do I have? I'm Mexican. I'm brown. Wait, see, look at my skin. Hold on, see?
Not according to these guys. Look, you are, well...
Look, see? That's brown.
You're borderlining. You might want to get a little tanner.
He's morally white. Morally.
According to this, there's a rise of white nationalist Hispanics.
What?
Wait, what? I'm racist?
Mm-hmm.
Racist?
White nationalist.
That guy doesn't even look remotely Hispanic, but okay.
No. He looks like
that's Nick
like
Fuentes.
Dawson from Dawson's Creek.
It's Nick Fuentes. Apparently, he's got a little bit of Hispanic in him. I don't know the range, but Nick Fuentes was one of those guys who's like he was super controversial. And besides Alex Jones, he's probably the second or third most banned guy on the internet. He's definitely not the sharpest tool in the shade as far as logic, but he's a good debater at that. But he's definitely not a guy I would not want to associate with.
He looks like he went to a Nickelback concert with his frat brothers.
Of course he did. And sat in the front row.
Yeah.
Well, okay, so
he tried to start the wave.
All right, so what do I get with this newfound status I now have as a national?
I don't know. You got power, man. Unlimited power.
All right, so I'm going to start instituting some changes around here. First of all, my first order of the day, Mexican Iron Man is not a YouTuber. All right, second order of the day.
Hey, hold up. Don't get so harsh here. You're not that white.
Okay. All right, well, second order of the day is all woke crap in Hollywood is hereby canceled.
Oh.
Well, that's why I think they're trying to say that you guys are these things. Honestly, if you want to let me get real for a minute, I think part of this is so they can paint you in with the same kind of groups as us, because a lot of let's say the Latin culture is pretty based and religious. So in that respect, they're going to try and paint you as bad guys as well, because you're next, just like blondes are next when it comes to being erased.
Wait, what?
Yeah. Well,
I thought we were going to get the spotlight.
No.
I didn't know what you meant when you said blondes are next. Damn it.
Blondes are next. Yeah. We just got some casting news for the live action How to Train Your Dragon reboot. And I don't know. She doesn't look very Viking-like to me.
What in the...
Wait, oh, gross.
Wow.
That's that actress from The Last of Us.
Is it? Nico Parker?
She was in the pilot.
I'll stick with the animated movies me and my kids like. We're good. I'm good here.
I didn't know. She's smiling in the animated one.
Yeah.
The live action, she's just frowning, scowling.
I didn't know there was a lot of mixed race Vikings. Script, anybody know about this?
Not unless they were like adopted or captured and brought back to Norway.
What about all the pillaging that they did?
They didn't get that far yet.
They definitely I'm pretty sure that they actually kidnapped some of the women and children in early Canada, Newfoundland, when they came there and did their pillaging and
but y'all are white as fuck.
No, our natives were not white.
Oh, you mean like the native, like, okay, like, gotcha, like, okay.
Yeah, the ones that have been there.
But she's not native either. She's like,
no.
Look, let's be real. She's mixed. Let's be honest about it here.
What, are they going to slap a blonde wig on her for the live action?
Maybe, but she doesn't look anything. She's nothing to do with her complexion. She doesn't necessarily have the right kind of facial features that come from that area, let's say.
Okay,
now anything like the original character.
Well, that's the thing. They don't care about them looking like the original characters anymore. It's about fulfilling the box now. The quota, the DEI.
Wait, what?
I see what you did there.
No, and nothing against the actress. I've never seen her in anything. I never even watched The Last of Us, which Six mentioned she'd been in, I guess. I'm not even aware of who she is. She could be a very excellent actress, but Yeah, it looks like Gingercide is now blonde genocide here.
Blondicide.
Well, let's ask our female representative on the panel. 6, what say you? How does this make you feel?
I'm excited because I looked her up, and that is the actress from The Last of Us. She was the highlight of The Last of Us, and she is captivating to me. I think she's just wonderful to see on screen. As far as the race swap, why wouldn't they? Is anybody surprised?
No, in that respect, no.
Yeah. And honestly, I mean, who's the last blonde cartoon? Well, Barbie. Barbie will be my saving grace, I guess.
Well, at least Barbie's still blonde. You got to.
But I never saw the original cartoon, so I don't give a fuck if they change.
It's all right. It was cute enough. Did it really need a live action reboot? No.
When are they going to start writing new stuff? Script?
Never.
When the strike's over, maybe. The thing is that again, you're talking about an industry that is terrified to lose money, and to think the safest way of doing that is to tell the same stories over and over again that are IP based, that are easy to sell and easy to market. It's really just a conflation of fear versus a lackadaisical approach to work.
Mm-hmm. No, it's just such a weird logic script, because at one point in time, all these major IPs were not major IPs at one point. They were all something new, something different. And no one does, like, anyone ever think about that? Like, I remember Once Upon a Time. I remember, even though it was a while ago, but I remember I do remember life before Toy Story. Like, I remember when that was brand new and what a big deal it became. Obviously, then for, you had generations with the Monsters Inc. of the world. Like, I remember times before that. I remember when Chicken Run was brand new. Like, I don't get with the logic of just playing it safe with the IP, because every franchise has its start somewhere. It's kind of like the whole with the job, with the whole, we only want experienced workers. And I get wanting experienced workers, but all those workers who you want experience needed to start somewhere at some point.
No, you're right, Nick, and there's a point to be made with that, because even, like, say, Ninja Turtles, for instance, nobody wanted it back in 1990 or 89 when they were shopping it around. Nobody wanted it because they were afraid it was on the end of its run. They didn't want another Masters of the Universe on their hands, to where they sink a bunch of money into this movie and it not make any money back. New Line took a chance on that, and that's a rarity. But nowadays, unless you have something like a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, they don't even want to take a meeting with you, basically.
Well, it's kind of sad. Is How to Train Your Dragon? Is that what it's called?
Yeah.
Isn't that kind of scraping the sides? Not quite bottom of the barrel, but
no, the original movies did well. They actually had like 2 or 3 sequels, I think it was.
Oh, okay.
It's not like Shrek level or anything like that, but I think they did modestly well.
They had a decent size following. They had enough where they made enough to keep them going, and they were well received. They also
had a TV series that was, I think, had a lot of the same people involved with it, and that also helped. Like, the TV series was very highly praised, at least when it first came out, from what I recall. I don't know how well it went.
Goddess of Whim says 3 movies and a TV series.
Yeah, I was going to say the TV series was pretty well received at first. That I remember.
My children liked the movies. They thought they liked dragons. So that was their gateway into dragons. And
I mean, my kid watched the series and stuff, but I watched like the first movie. I don't know if I've seen the second or third one though.
I love
They're good
movies.
All 3 of them are good.
Well, didn't they also have like the characters growing up throughout the films too, in that part of it as well?
Yes.
I was gonna say. No, they were all right, but as far as a live action remake, I don't see the reason in it, even though I do love dragons. But let's see what you guys are talking about out in the chat here. We got Zontar here who says, Mike,
what?
I don't care if I have to hack your suit. I will get you to watch IndyCar, Midwest Racing Supremacy, 112 years of racing. I think Mikey would rather just drive a fast car than actually watch people race.
Exactly. So, Zontar, what is the difference? Anybody on the panel, what's the difference between an F1 and an Indy car?
F1 sounds like you're trying not to say a swear word.
Isn't that a Ford pickup?
Indy car sounds like something Wes Anderson drives around.
There's a Formula One car, or is an Indy car?
Oh, Formula One, yeah.
An Indy car is a Formula One car?
No, that's Indianapolis 500 shit. Yeah, I actually know. I'm just joking, but
Okay, so a Formula One car is different than an Indy car.
Yes.
It's because why? Because how?
I don't fucking know.
I don't know. I just rather watch Speed Racer.
Tom Cruise did a movie about
that
racing.
was a good movie.
Which one?
The movie was good.
Days of Thunder.
Why would I watch race cars run?
Speed Racer is the best racing ever.
All right, Zontar, ping me on Twitter and send me the link for a race. I'll try this shit out. Let's try it. Let's go.
It'll be an easy way to fall asleep.
I'm not buying any Bud Light to watch this thing, Zontar.
Speed Racer has fights in it and has cars trying to knock each other off the road and crazy. It's just the best racing. If racing in real life was like Speed Racer, everybody would watch it.
All right, I'm just saying. I'm like
Bud Light may be the king of beers, but Pabst is like the most redneck of beers.
What about Milwaukee's Best?
Milwaukee's Best. Well, Milwaukee's Best isn't that big, but I don't know if I'd call it a redneck beer.
Okay.
I'm Googling.
PBR is very rednecky.
Does Zontar want me to watch Indy or Formula One?
Because it's barely beer.
What kind of car?
Actually be piss.
What kind of car is the Mammoth car?
I don't know. Gonzalo Bugali has been a member for 18 months at the Congo level and says, all hail the YouTuber. That's right, Mikey the YouTuber. Do not forget. Never forget.
Oh, for God's sake. You people stop that talk right now.
No, you did it. Goddess of Whim is here. How you doing, Goddess? Says, you guys here to hear about, the fights that broke out at Little Mermaid showing.
Hey, those were mostly peaceful demonstrations.
Mostly peaceful. Well, was there at least 2 of them now confirmed? I think it was.
Oh, there's fights?
Was the fight over the movie or just general fight?
People at the fights.
It was a family event. It
happened. Yeah, a bunch of kids got involved.
I've seen those all the time for every movie.
No, actually, it was a bunch of adults
break out at a Pirates of the Caribbean showing.
Could happen anywhere.
Yeah.
They want to blame the movie?
Has nothing to do with the movie usually.
I read a comment, which means it's true, that there was a couple making out in the movie, and one of the moms got a little upset because it was in front of the children.
There's nothing better to do, I guess.
What the fuck? That's people do is go on dates.
Yeah, the one place you want to make out is in a movie where nobody's really there.
Now the little kids will learn that when you go to the movies, you're supposed to fight.
Yeah. I love how the kids are just watching the fight and not watching the movie. Especially during the best song, yeah.
They don't even give a crap about the movie.
Okay, so are these this is the same theater. This is not the same. This is not 2 different fights. Okay. People were showing the 2 different sides of the videos when it was. Gotcha. I think. Maybe not.
Wow.
Oh, come on, that's a Walmart fight.
No.
Yeah, right?
We getting a refund.
We getting a refund.
With a refund. They say this movie sucks. She said.
I just think they shouldn't.
We need a refund.
That bad?
This is just. This
They're not
is
going to honor if they don't leave the theater right then and there. That's
right, and as funny as this is, it also makes me sad because I've seen a few videos like this lately that really make me go, what the fuck is wrong with parents?
Well, here's my thing that I put on Twitter. I said, look, I need a license to drive a car, all kinds of background checks to have my U.S. constitutional rights as an American, Second Amendment, but any moron can have a kid and raise an idiot.
Pretty much.
Yep.
But
America.
And many have.
I mean, that's just teaching your kids such bad things.
Well,
that is not how you conduct yourself in public.
Yeah.
No, it's not.
I didn't get out of the theater.
Probably, if I had to guess, I mean, I could easily make the easy answer and say it's probably a Chicago theater, but I'm gonna be fair for once.
No, if it was Chicago, somebody got shot, Nick.
Yeah, it's true. So probably New York. But, yeah,
I don't know. That theater looks pretty big for a New York theater.
Could be one of the small ones because Chicago does have they have big theaters, but they do have some smaller ones.
Recliners.
I remember before I got Chirac half a decade ago, they still had a few of the old-fashioned theaters with the flat floors with the, not the stadium seats. So they are still there. I'm not saying they're commonplace, but you can find them if you know how to look.
Yeah, and this is what I mean, Patrick.
Too bad there wasn't an usher there with a fire extinguisher just to douse them.
Fuck. Why wouldn't an usher don't get paid enough to deal with that shit, man?
Manager.
Theater Atlanta, someone's saying Atlanta.
Or she. Oh, yeah. I was going to say it sounded more like down south from the accents, but I wasn't going
Orlando. I've seen that now. I've seen Orlando in the chat. Atlanta. Yeah.
Anyway, yeah. Waltman says, oh no, Comic Book Resources just fired their high-level editors and restructuring today. Who knew bashing fans would lead to this? Oh wait, Neon did, lol. Oh yeah, I barely even remember Comic Book Resources. I don't really use them. Scott Westbrook has been a member for 8 months. Says improvise, adapt, overcome, Gunnery Sergeant Highway.
Sergeant Highway.
That's right. I thought you wanted us to improvise.
Improvise.
DCB Titan says, forget Speed Racer. The better one is Speed Racist. Well, that's what's next.
Oh,
Here comes
Speed Racist.
Here comes Speed Racist.
He's the bigot on wheels.
Yeah, he's a bigot on wheels.
He's a bigot, and he's going to be burning.
He's going to judge you, and you're never going to have a chance to get
guys.
Lance Corporal Waffle says, the Mammoth car is long, man.
It is. It is the Mammoth car.
Oh, God, the long
Somebody else remembered it.
The ladies last night. Oh, my gosh. June Wong says, it's an opportunity. Theaters should have a wrestling ring near the screen where people can fight. They will sell more seats and more money. Well, what's funny about this is I brought it up yesterday on another program, but like the whole idea of, people are like, don't go see Joker. There's going to be violence. They're going to break out in the theater. Violence in the theater. Don't go see Joker. Don't go see Joker. So white male rage. And yet it was fucking Frozen that had like the machete fight in it. It broke out.
I remember when that Joker movie was coming, like the theaters. I remember just hearing about the whole incel thing. I'm like, this sounds staged. I just remember I'd be like, how can you say that? I'm like, this is made up. They're trying to instigate this incident to happen. So that's all this is.
Well,
it's bait. And it
Andre
turned out
did a great
that's
video
all it was.
at the time, yeah.
Yes,
because he did a great video
video
breaking the whole thing down because they were trying to build it off that idea of that guy who went in and shot up a Dark Knight screening or whatever it was.
Yeah.
And they claimed that he had done it because he identified with the Joker, and it was like, no, he didn't have anything to do with the Joker. He just happened to color his hair orange, which isn't the same color as the Joker.
True.
Yeah.
It's
just there was very little. The only reason he did that, pick that theater at that time, is because it was full. That was it.
Yeah, and it was in a certain type of area.
Right.
People aren't allowed to carry certain things that could protect them. Zone.
Mecha J says the producer for this live action How to Train Your Dragon also produced the live action Little Mermaid movie. Oh, well, big surprise there. So you know what to expect. Well, what's funny about this is I had to stop Culture dead in his tracks earlier because he was talking about how great Universal this and DreamWorks that and and I'm like, well, and I had to show him this, and I'm like, yeah. And again, Six is the only one who's really seen the actress from what I can tell from the panel. So going off of what she said, the actress is probably fine. But
yeah, she's going to do a great job acting.
Sure. I won't watch it.
That won't be the complaint about the movie.
I don't think so. Mellow Mutt says my stepdad always had the decency to keep the violence in the
Whoa.
Oh man.
That's dark.
That's damn civic minded of him.
Wow. Oh, that was
nice.
Good.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's right.
Inside.
I just
Keep
don't
your
see
civil shit at home.
I just don't see why anyone would go to the movies for this kind of fight experience when anywhere in California you can just do that at a Walgreens.
Oh man.
Well, I mean, I've seen
$900 worth of stuff too.
I've seen people get into disagreements or somewhat arguments, whatever you want to call it. I've never seen anybody come close to fisticuffs. I've heard of the other problems people have had in showings, and usually it stems from somebody talking or on their phone or not really paying attention to the movie. Yeah. But in most cases, you tell somebody to shut the fuck up, and they shut the fuck up. And if they don't shut the fuck up, then you go complain about them, and you have an usher come and remove them from the theater. That's the other problem is people get too involved. And I mean, I almost did it myself a few times. In fact, I remember going to see It, the remake, and there was these two punks behind me that were just kept talking through the whole fucking movie. And literally, I was about 2 seconds, even though they were wrong about everything they were saying, I was about 2 seconds from turning around and going, if I wanted to watch it with the audio commentary, I had to just wait until it came on DVD. But luckily, some other guy to the next to me just said, "Shut the fuck up." And they finally did. But it's like, I was just sitting here thinking that could have went the wrong way. At least I was kind of doing it with like diffusing it with humor in a way. I was thinking, I'm like, but at the same time, it's like, do I really want to get my ass kicked by 2 teenagers?
What was that movie that you watched, the end of it, standing in the back hallway because
that would have been the Batman?
Got into it. Okay.
Really?
Yeah, because I kept grunting and groaning about the movie, and they were just bitching about me grunting and groaning. And I'm like, this is fucking stupid. I'm like, this is fucking stupid. It's like, what the fuck? The real reason was because I started screaming. I said, "You dumb fuck." And the moment was where Batman turns around and he just conveniently overlooks the fact that he should know that this is nothing but a ruse by Riddler, knowing there's got to be a trick to it, just because he's afraid and he's distracted by this idea that Gordon might figure out that Bruce Wayne is Batman. And I'm like, "You dumb fucker." I said out loud, I'm like, "He's setting you up." And the guy goes, "Shut up and watch your movie, man." I'm like, "Look, I'm not even a fucking detective, and I'm a better detective than the world's greatest detective." And he goes, "If you're not going to watch a movie or you're not going to shut up, just leave." I said, "Fine, I fucking will." And I went and stood in the fucking hallway for the last hour of the movie.
Oh, shit.
Oh,
nice.
I
did manage to say from over the way, I'm like, "I told you it was a fucking trick," or something like that. I can't remember. Or it was a setup.
I love it.
Oh, that's good.
Because I'm sitting here going, this movie should be getting over yet. And it's like, oh no, this is too fucking easy.
That's great. I wish I'd been there with you.
That's amazing, right? I would have had a ball with that. Oh, dude.
I mean, and I like it that people like the movie. That's fine. But what I hate is when people come at me and say, "Well, at least he was being a detective." It's like, yeah, but he's a horrible fucking detective.
He's terrible.
He was barely a detective. What movie are we watching where he was an obnoxious detective? Oh man.
He had to rely on AI to identify people that Catwoman was looking at.
Anyway, Nikki D says, "What are the main distinctions between Eastern storytelling and Western storytelling?" Well, this is a good question. Script Doctor, let's start with you. What is the difference? I'm curious myself.
Western storytelling is more active, has goals, stakes, and urgency. Eastern storytelling, a bit more passive, doesn't care about goals, does have stakes, doesn't really care so much about urgency. It's more in the day of a life as opposed to the most important events of the characters. That's what I have noticed across the conventional Eastern storytelling versus conventional Western storytelling. Now, if you want to get into like the legendary stuff between East and West, there's a lot of overlapping themes and concepts there. It's far more in sync. It's as we get closer to the current era, that's when they start separating greatly.
Now, are you referring to things like how Kurosawa films are very, like they were easily made into Western remakes, for instance? Is that kind of what you're getting at in a way? Or something totally
Kurosawa
different?
is actually using very Western theology, Western ideas for his storytelling. That's what made Kurosawa. He understood it.
Okay.
And he definitely created a great impact with regards to cinema in his region, and then later on worldwide. No, I'm thinking more of the lines like you can take something like a very, very popular anime like Dragon Ball, where tons of episodes occur but nothing happens, which is very much a kind of a staple with Western Eastern storytelling at that point. And then you can converse that with Western storytelling, like something like The Wire, where lots of stuff happens in every episode, or things like Sopranos, where lots of stuff happens in every episode because things are actually self-contained and they're trying to get to a resolution and also build a setup. Oz is a great example of that. Breaking Bad, fantastic. Better Call Saul. There's all these story elements of things happening now, and they're important, and they're also setups and payoffs that you don't get as frequently with the more contemporary Eastern storytelling stuff that I have encountered. Now, I've only encountered a fair portion amount, and nowhere near as much as someone like a normal anime or manga comics fan has. But the stuff that I have seen that has been recommended to me that I perused does fall into the category where urgency is not so much a thing, and it's more about just character exploration through mundane events as opposed to very important ones, but they do build to very important ones eventually. It's just the time from that introduction to that important event is far greater on the Eastern side of storytelling than Western.
All right, well, hopefully that answers your question, Nikki, unless anybody else had a different take.
I can really only speak necessarily to Midwest storytelling.
Midwest
I've watched a lot of anime. Anime is only one part of Eastern storytelling, but from within that, I can say there's a lot of slice of life, which I would agree with you. Script is kind of the mundane day-to-day life, but then you get another one like Berserk, which probably does borrow more from. There's definitely setup and payoff there, and big events consistently. Right. Like you read through the Golden Age arc. And if you haven't read through the Golden Age arc, do that. It's one of the best.
Like Cowboy Bebop is a great example of using Western storytelling techniques. In there as well. So, and I've heard great things about Berserk, but I have not checked it out yet. One Piece, I get mixed reception from people where they're like, it's 500 television episodes, and it's all for one goal. But there is kind of urgency, but they don't acknowledge it as much, and you have to wait 7 or 8 seasons before it gets good or something of that variation of. And I'm like, okay, that's kind of crazy.
And the manga of that's been going on since 1997. That's my son's favorite thing ever. One Piece. And I know a lot of people. It's got a gigantic following. The thing is, you can easily go back and backtrack that, but it's a lot. And if you do get into it, you got a lot to have. You'll never run out of it.
It's one of the longest running series or whatever. Yeah. My favorite Eastern story is the Legend of Pai Mei and the Monk. But I don't know how many people know that story.
Kill Bill.
Oh, he picked it up. Somebody did.
Yeah, Pai Mei was a bastard.
Yeah. Pai Mei gave the monk the slightest of nods. But the
that was. What did that tell you, folks?
Returned.
Yeah, man, he was a little hypersensitive. That Pai Mei. If you're gonna kill a whole bunch of monks,
saw this as the greatest of insults.
Yes. And he's wow, Pai Mei. Talk about triggered.
The 5
I love that movie.
Death Punch or whatever it is.
Yes. Great movie.
Mecha J also says, and the producer is also going to be involved with Disney's live action Snow White movie. Well, I guess do what works. To ride it till it dies. Ride it like you stole it in this case. Goddess of Whim says, this is why I'm getting deep into Japanese media, Super Sentai, manga, and music. Well, good for you. That's cool. We got June Wong, who says, I shouted out, what the fuck, in frustration in the theater once. In my defense, Twilight Sparkle should never treat her friends that way. Are you talking about Little Pony?
Who's Twilight Sparkle?
I was gonna say, isn't that something from My Little Park, like My Little Pony or something like that?
Twilight Sparkly Vampires?
At first, that's what I was thinking. Then I'm like, no, wait, that's like the name of a pony in My Little Pony.
Oh.
Now, how do you know that, Tom?
I don't, but I'm just guessing. Because they're all names
Twilight
like,
Sparkle.
Twilight Sparkle and...
How do you know the names of any of the...
Gem Fest
He's a
and
brony.
Rainbow Fart.
You're not a brony, are you, Tom? Which is perfectly fine.
No, fuck, no. Fuck, no.
Nothing wrong with that. Not that there's anything wrong with that. Just,
I'll be honest with you. I find bronies kind of
disturbing. Well, I was just trying to be nice in case you were one.
Nothing personal.
Nothing personal.
No, but I think I have seen like a brony
I know it. I've actually known a brony, I believe. Yeah, there's a documentary.
Yeah.
John Delancey goes to those conventions. Not as a brony, as a actor on the cartoon.
And there's Twinkle Puss and I can't remember anymore. Very Bright. I don't know. Light Loafer.
Oh man, I'm sorry, Tom. They're gonna never. You never.
Hey, Yeti, how you been, buddy? We ain't seen Yeti in a while.
Hey, Yeti, you never gonna hear the end of it now. Yeti. You're gonna get called a brownie forever now because of me. I'm sorry.
Vertical's not wrong. I'm more of a Care Bear guy. Okay. Definitely was more of a Care Bear guy than the ponies. Shit.
Did you own a Care Bear? Taking too long to answer. That's a yes.
I didn't have the plushes, but I did have a couple of like the. I think I had some of the McDonald's toys at one point, probably.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, I was pretty young when the Care Bears movie came out. And that has Mickey Rooney in it. And then the second one came out and that was dumb.
It's got Rooney.
First one's actually pretty good. That's where the kid gets like all sucked into the magic stuff, the dark magic, and it's almost like an allegory for drugs and shit.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And they save him with the Care Bear stare.
I watched a lot of Care Bears growing up.
My favorite Care Bear is Stoner Bear.
Yeah.
You never see him because he don't know where to fuck you. He's just chilling. I miss the show, man. Anyway, moving on here. We got Action Com in the house. It says, have you ever been to one of those theaters that have luxury room in the back? The champagne room? I've learned
I've been there many a times.
With a personal condiment center, couches with built-in. No, I haven't actually.
Condom
and you
center?
can curse all you want.
Mine had a condom center that I went to.
Mikey, I guess I got to hang out with you to get into one of these luxury
I want to
rooms.
go to that one.
It wasn't. I mean, I wouldn't have called it a theater so much as I would call it a private viewing area.
Wow,
It's
champagne room. I think that's the champagne room.
Yeah, Chris
There's
Rock is
no
wrong.
sex in the champagne room unless you're Mikey.
Nope. Depends how many hundreds you got.
Well, of course, nobody wanted to sleep with Chris Rock back then.
It just means in there, there's none, maybe.
TCB Titan says One Piece, 500 episodes, maybe a couple of years ago, over 1,000. I was going to say, yeah.
Well, 1,000 of manga.
Yeah.
But, yeah. 1,000 now,
It goes on and on and on, just like the song that never ends. Pilgrim Media has been here for 4 months. Thank you so much. We appreciate that at the minimum effort puppy level. So let's get into the real story of the day. Why y'all are terrorists? Because we're all a bunch of terrorists.
True. Terriblest. In case you don't want to say a word that gets you in trouble.
And this to me is getting to the point of, again, where, you keep using these kind of words and they just don't end up meaning what they used to mean.
No, they don't. It just, when used so loosely, it reduces the impact of it.
I think so. I agree. According to this report, though, ratings terrorism, overseas response to the Little Mermaid. In other words, the whole world is fucking racist.
Is it my fault because now I'm a white nationalist?
You're a white supremacist.
So I did this. I did this.
If you didn't love women so much, I'd say it's all your fault, but it's only partially your fault.
Is terriblism if you didn't go see it at all, or is it just racism if you didn't go see it?
It's racism if you didn't go see it.
I didn't go see it.
But if you give it a bad review, it's terriblism. Right?
Terrorism, yes. Thank you so very much. You have distinctively, I think, made the distinction.
So I'm racist, but I'm not a terrorist.
You're just a racist right now.
You're just racist as hell, Mike.
I was going to go see it. I was out running errands, and I thought if I have time, I'm gonna stop in the theater, and if there's a showtime that fits for me, I'm going to go in and see it. And then I missed the exit to go to the theater, and I said, fuck it, I don't want to see it anymore.
That's Six. I hate to inform you, that is pure and unadulterated racism.
Yeah.
No, here's what happens when I miss my exit. It's like, okay, I can miss the fucking previews. But we're getting off at the next exit usually if I plan on going to see a movie.
If you don't turn around, you're a racist.
I sat in rush hour traffic for 3 hours to see Terminator 3.
Jeez.
It did not live up to that.
Wow.
It did not live up to that. That's for
I'm
sure.
so sorry.
Like, it was gridlocked on the interstate.
I got stuck in terrible traffic going to see The Last Jedi, and I had the flu, and my low tire light came on, and I was going to a town like 45 minutes away. So I had to stop at a gas station and pay to fill my tires. So I wouldn't sit in the theater stressed out, worrying that I was going to have a flat tire when I got out of the theater. Wow. And then to top it all off, I had to go see The Last Jedi.
Then you sat through The Last Jedi.
Yeah. You saw The Last.
I did get a flat tire leaving a movie once because they were doing construction nearby and ended up picking up something.
I've had that happen in theaters.
Well, and of course, an hour from home. Even better, yeah.
Oh, shit.
Matthew Valenti says the Snow White remake will not even feature the Seven Dwarfs at all. It's not even Snow White anymore. Yeah, I remember. Well, that's because of Peter Dinklage. Yeah. Matthew Valenti says, I just saw the original Little Mermaid last night. Truly a classic. They just don't make them like they used to. No, and In this case, they make it an hour longer and a lot more divisive. Fans and haters turned out to local movie theaters this weekend to be some of the first to see Disney's live-action remake of the 1989 classic, The Little Mermaid. Social media has been hyping this movie up for years. Okay. Yep. The results are finally in. The Little Mermaid is a smash hit in North America, at least. Pop Crave announced on Twitter this afternoon that Rob Marshall's adaptation currently is the #1 movie in the world. Referred to all over Twitter as a global phenomenon, even by the flat earthers. The Little Mermaid, starring Halle Bailey as the red-headed mermaid Ariel, is projected to make over $118 million in its debut weekend. The Hollywood Reporter notes that this is Disney's 5th biggest opening of all time and should make another $60 million by Monday. In other words, like, why even talk about that being a thing?
I like how they use the 118 million. Normally it's 100, 125, 150. The fact they're like, it's 118 million and $4.
Actually, I think that's rounded up from 117 million and $4, to be honest with you, Mike. But yeah.
Oh, all right. Well,
no, I think they did. They rounded it up because the last I knew it did more like 117. But anyway, that being said, the Hollywood Reporter, Variety reported The Little Mermaid made $38 million just on opening day. Wow, they also counted Wednesday and Thursday in that number. See, that's the part they don't tell you.
Yep. Let's not. I've seen people try to make that, and I'm glad it was mentioned in your video. Which, by the way, folks, if you haven't watched the newest video, you should. They're trying to compare to look, it holds up with Aladdin. It's just like, bro, Aladdin came out several years before, when the prices were down. So you mark that number with the inflation, and it paints a whole different picture.
Basically, the rough math is about 30% less people went to see this movie. But that's not even the bigger problem here, Nick. Although I'm glad you brought that up. The bigger problem here, and that's what this whole article is about, is that outside of the U.S., nobody is going to see this thing. Nobody. It is a dead duck.
Well, then how's it my fault? I'm here in the U.S. How am I the robber?
Because you're a bigot, Mike. Just deal with it. Overseas markets boycott a Black Mermaid. Here comes the real rub. While the film has faced a ton of backlash from Bailey's casting to the CGI quality and to plot updates, so basically every good reason people would have to gripe, U.S. citizens are having an overwhelmingly positive reaction to seeing the film in its entirety. No, they're not, because we'll get into that in a moment. The movie, however, has met with a lopsided reaction from overseas. No, it's pretty much the same in the U.S. It's just being fucking fortified. In fact, audiences in different markets are actively fighting against the success of the film. Deadline cited racially tinged commentary.
Wait, I gotta stop. I gotta stop. How do we get actively fighting against the film if it's more like ambivalent? I don't want to spend my money and go watch this horse shit. How is that fighting?
That you're being a terrorist now.
Oh, for God's sake. Bambino, come here.
So they went from racism to terrorism.
I need a puppy to cuddle.
There have been anti-black social media campaigns. Where? I want to see the fucking proof. Even though there were complaints of whitewashing Halle Berry on promo posters in China. China wasn't the only country to suffer this discrepancy. France, Germany, and Korea also suffered targeted action against The Little Mermaid. In Germany, the film had a 0.7 out of 10 before it even released to theaters. Okay.
That's terrible.
Why would you even have it open for ratings unless you're a critic who's already seen the film? That's dumb. Movie rating sites respond to ratings terrorism. Deemed ratings terrorism by Korea's SBS News, Deadline explained that there was a trend of negative reviews receiving hundreds of likes and positive reviews getting hundreds of thumbs down. Maybe that just means people don't like the fucking stupid movie.
They just don't like skin color.
But that couldn't be. There's just that many racists. In reference to Little Mermaid. Yeah, in reference to Little Mermaid, the Internet Movie Database posted this warning. Now, this is, I believe, is the truncated version of it. But anyway, our rating mechanism has detected unusual voting activity on this title. To preserve the reliability of our rating system, an alternate weighing calculation has been applied. Now, for those who watched the morning show the other morning, I apologize because we did go through this already, but I think it needs to be...
I don't remember that. Wait, what? What?
Although we accept and consider all votes received by users, not all votes have the same impact or weight on the final rating.
So if I'm Mexican, does that mean my vote's like 2/3 of one vote? Or
well, I think they're more worried about the fact that you're white and you're male. When unusual voting activity is detected, an alternate weighing calculation may be applied in order to preserve the reliability of our system. Well, I think that latter part is a fucking lie. If it was reliable in the first place, you wouldn't have to fortify it for a piece of shit movie like this. Again, now this is the truncated version of what they put out. Andre is working on a script about this whole fucking thing. So I don't want to get too deep in the woods with this thing. But it's like, this is some of the most... Instead of just moving the goalposts at this point, they're just flat out admitting that they're fortifying the score now. We already knew they were on Rotten Tomatoes. It's obvious. It hasn't budged from 95%.
Some votes are worth more than others.
Exactly. They get to decide which vote counts and which ones don't.
It's a little bit frightening.
Yep.
Okay, I never saw the cartoon version.
Really?
So in that last picture that you had up, Tom, where she's sitting in a boat with some guy.
Mm-hmm.
If we didn't know that was Little Mermaid, what about, like, where is her red hair?
Exactly.
There's nothing about her. If you don't see her in the fin, does she look like the Little Mermaid? I could care less. Honestly, I could care less about the skin color of Little Mermaid.
He kind of looks like Eric dresses, but no, like that's not even close to the dress
she's
wearing.
Yeah, it could be anything. Yeah.
Well, even if you take out what's her face, whoever plays Ariel, just look at the crab. The crab looks awful. The animals look awful too. Like they all, besides I mean, Ursula's debatable, I guess, but all the art characters, all of them look awful. The CG looks like absolute trash. This is weird because they had so much time with this one.
Well, there's more spin, so just hold on to that thought for a minute. We're just about through with this. The hyper focus on Ariel's ethnicity for the live-action remake has been up for debate in the U.S. for years now, but audiences turned out and showed internet trolls what fur. They sure did. At least in the domestic side of things. Other countries, however, are fucking racists. The Little Mermaid also stars Melissa McCarthy, Javier Bardem, and that's pretty much what they're fucking saying here. I mean, if anybody wants to argue that, I can go feel free. I don't think my editorializing was much editorializing.
No.
The Little Mermaid also stars Melissa McCarthy, Javier Bardem as a wet rat, from what I've heard, David Diggs, Aquafina, and Jonah Hauer King. What are your thoughts on the endless blah, 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 blah? Yeah, this is a fucking disaster, and they're calling us terrorists now.
I've heard a few people who don't even really like the movie said that Melissa McCarthy's actually the best thing as far as closer to the, the animated version. I don't know, I haven't seen it, don't care, but
Mystery.
Has anyone here seen it?
No.
On the panel?
No,
I'm racist.
I saw it in 1989.
No, we're racist. Yeah, I saw it in 1989. Not only is it a really good movie, just as for me, as who loves animation, at that point when I finally got the VHS tape of that a couple years later, my kids were at the perfect age. I mean, how much babysitting mileage I got out of that movie?
Oh, I know, right?
I mean, turn that sucker on, I get an hour, 20 minutes of rest. Perfect.
And 6, to be honest, with seeing the clips I've seen and now knowing exactly what's different from the original, I don't think I have to.
No, it's the same base story, just stretched out.
Exactly.
And with, by the way, I've seen a lot of people talk about it, with some certain elements that would be not go over too well today with the woke crowd, altered.
Guess what? I have not watched the reboot of Lion King. I have not watched Aladdin.
Me either. Don't need them.
The only one of the reboot of Lion King.
I have not seen any of them aside from Dumbo.
Haven't seen that. Any good? That was good or no?
You know what? That one they actually did did rework some bits of the story. Now, it's a much darker version of the story. But in that respect, I think it bombed at the box office, so it don't matter. But you're still kind of you're like, boy, Tim Burton must have really liked this story as a kid, though. Like that, I did get through it. But other than that, I wouldn't say I can really. I'm
not sure Dumbo needs to be dark, so yeah.
All right, so 6, you saw the movie? No.
Oh, I kept.
She missed her exit.
I couldn't get over to the exit.
So you should come over to my house and we'll watch the original together.
Okay.
Yeah. It's a fun movie. It's a great movie.
Look at this stuff. Isn't it neat? Mike can make your night complete.
Do you have a good window that I could jump out of?
I heard got a few.
Mike makes sure that there's levels on the first level of the house.
Wow.
But he doesn't need it.
But I got a pool you could jump into.
Yeah, Sammy's usually in there.
Sammy. Oh my God, Sammy! Did I tell you Sammy had babies with a little girl?
What?
Aww.
Yes. Oh my God, I gotta go get video of it. They're back behind the second.
We are grandparents, Mikey, and you didn't tell me.
Yeah, dude, I just saw this the other day before I got on the plane and went to Connecticut. There's Sammy because he has that little orange thing on the top of his head, so he's a really easy squirrel to recognize. He stands out compared to all the black ones and the brown ones. And I saw him chasing this little squirrel girls earlier this year. And then I just went on the back and I saw the little baby squirrels in the back.
Oh, he's definitely your squirrel. Chasing girl squirrels? Hell yeah.
Do you have a cover on your pool?
Yeah. Why?
So Sammy doesn't.
Well, it's Sammy proof now.
Well, Sammy knows better now.
Are you sure?
What did you say he was trying to do when he ended up in the pool anyway? In the first place?
Oh, he was trying to jump from one tree. Oh, maybe that's what he was doing when he was jumping from one tree to the other tree.
Chasing some tail.
Jumping out a window.
No, wait.
Jumping out of the other squirrel's husband came home. That's why. Now Sammy's got a whole block full of kids.
He learned from the best.
He did. Let's speaking of the best, let's get back to the super chats. We got Nikki D here who says, if this panel was tasked to produce a Scarface remake that meets modern DEI requirements, what story and casting changes would you make? Oh, wow. Well, I like that you picked Scarface because I know I can see what you did there, because that was already a reimagined remake.
It was a remake, yeah.
Mm-hmm. They've already struggled a few times. I think Script stepped away here. He could probably tell me how many years and how many times now they've attempted this. They've gone back and forth between trying to turn it into like a more black, like having a black cast in it.
RuPaul plays the lead.
Yes, RuPaul would be great as the lead.
Given.
And then now they've actually gone back to, I believe, more of a Hispanic background or whatever, Puerto Rican background or whatever it is. That was the last I heard, but that was years ago. So I don't even know if this thing has been in development hell for a while. But if I was to produce it, gosh, honestly, the Al Pacino Scarface is almost so perfect already that I don't really want to touch it. Because all you would be doing is it would remind me of like, I'd have to try and avoid all the things that make Scarface. And then what you wind up with is like the Child's Play remake and the Ghostbusters remake.
Well, first of all, Scarface would be in transition and we'd have to add new meaning to that scene. Say hello to my little
RuPaul.
friend. RuPaul. Yeah, say hello to my little friend, and then we got to look down.
Yeah. They would have gotten rid of the guns, too.
Yeah, for walkie-talkies.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know. Anybody got a take on this? I really wouldn't want to touch it, to be honest with you.
You know me and remakes, so I have no. I mean, I don't think, even though I'm not the biggest fan of the film, I don't think that anyone could ever play like Pacino. So, not really my bag, that kind of film, but I didn't like it enough and respect it enough to know that no one else needs to be playing that role. But Pacino.
I mean, even though he's
resent remakes.
Yeah, even though he's, you know,
even though he was a second, right?
Well, he's Italian playing.
Yeah, but he's just so good. I mean, even like I said, it's his performance that is that movie.
You'd have to somehow tie it to the modern times because that was the twist of the remake to begin with, is that they used what was going on at the time.
True.
To kind of inform it. And really, because outside of just the idea of a crime lord's rise to fame and fall and falling in love with like the boss's wife. Those are like the only things that really are borrowed from the original story. And obviously the guy has a scar on his face.
I often recuse myself from questions about remakes because of my complete and utter disgust, lack of respect and loathing for them. I can rarely get even into the mindset of who should play who again. Because I'm like, no, that performance.
I hear you, Klobby, but I'm usually not as bad as that. But at the same time, I see this being a fair question just because of Scarface already being a remake. Yeah,
it's a fair question. It's just
I think in this case, just to make it work with your DEI requirements and all that stuff like you're asking here, Nikki, what you would do is you would have it be a story about Mexican immigrant and their rise on the streets of like LA or something like that.
El Paso,
El Paso, or Hilton Head.
What?
And I don't know, something like that along those lines. Probably as far as stars, I mean, you could have Johnny Legs play the old guy in it. What's his face? In the original, probably that kind of a role. And then as far as Scarface himself. I'd have to think on that because maybe an unknown.
It's got to be Lizzo.
Lizzo.
Is there a female lead in
That's
the
Lizzo
movie?
for sure.
Well, there's two actually. That's the thing. There's the sister character, and then there's the girlfriend wife.
Because Dylan Mulvaney is probably
both.
Yeah, there you go. That might be a good remake.
Dylan's a good casting choice. But yeah, like, the American Gangster kind of really already was a weird kind of retake on Scarface already, even though that's based on a true story. So.
Tom Holland.
I don't know. Nobody's really can. I don't know. I can't think of anybody. I think they could pull it off. Yeah.
That's for a tough act to follow with that question.
Yeah. Where's D-Bud's thing? Okay. Sorry about that. Okay. Back to the program at hand. Thank you again. And then we got Tiger Valley's in the house and says, my country's 90% black and no one is talking about it. Yeah, I don't even know what numbers it's got over there, but it's just being rejected across the board. And that makes me really question not so much the ratings part. We already know that's Fugazi bullshit, but it's starting to get me to question the box office even. Like, I think they're fudging that a little bit too with like their like I said, watch, next week we're going to start hearing about it getting the Black Panther treatment. If you guys remember, that's part of the way they got Black Panther over $1 billion is they had a bunch of inner city programs buying tickets and taking kids to the movie. Watch.
I think that's awesome.
Yeah, there's nothing wrong with that, but it also pads the box office, and the studios could just give them free tickets, Six. Instead, they're using charitable organizations to boost their box office.
Yeah.
It's bullshit.
Well, but if poor kids got to go see a movie, then good on them.
But they got to go see The Little Mermaid.
Yeah, exactly.
It's more like a punishment.
Exactly my point. Like, it's like, fuck, I got to live my life as it is, and now you're going to make me go see this shit. Thanks.
You couldn't take him to see the Super Mario Bros. Movie?
Take the kid to a fucking strip club, at least. I mean.
I mean, pick a 110-degree day and go to a theater with air conditioning. Okay.
Yeah.
There's something for that.
Yeah,
otherwise, I mean, there's other things you could do with your time.
Or take a vote with the kids, what the kids want to see. I bet you they'd all pick Mario. Exactly.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Esther Dickerson is here. Thank you so much. And says, there's a couple that got into an argument in one theater. They legit paused the movie while they had 10 security guards try to talk them through. Well, that's the beauty of digital nowadays. Back in the day,
pause it, yeah.
You can't just pause it or back it up or do anything like they can now.
So they had security during therapy. That's nice.
Yeah.
Like, I don't get paid enough for this shit. And then Pilgrim Media says, cultural Marxists understand our collective power. Well, I hope they get to the wrath of it anyway. God Swim says, this hurts me to my core. The Little Mermaid is my favorite movie. I hate what they've done to this. The 1989 film was the first movie I saw in theaters in 1990 with my mom when I was 5. Wow.
That's awesome, guys. That's a cool memory.
I do remember seeing it in theaters myself. I was 9. And as a was a pretty big deal.
It's really one of the greatest of the Disney animated films.
Well, it was part of the big second wind of movies between that, Beauty and the Beast.
Technically, it started with Oliver and Company the year before, but
it did start. But
people tend to forget that one, though. But
wave.
But no, and rightfully so. I guess if it's forgettable, people forget about it, so they didn't really. Of all the Renaissance, that's my favorite one, and it was my last Disney movie as a kid.
I like Aladdin's my favorite, but I love Little Mermaid right there.
No, they're all good. Yeah, I'm probably with Claudia says that Aladdin's my favorite, but Little Mermaid definitely does have a place.
I give Little Mermaid the edge over Aladdin because of the music. The music in Little Mermaid is just
it is great.
That's fair.
Purely good from head to toe.
That's
Robin's so great. Yeah.
Yeah, I won't argue.
Same thing with Beauty and the Beast. Like the music in the Beauty and the Beast is you can tell.
It's memorable. It sticks out.
That's when Howard Ashman died, I believe, in between there and the others. So it was like you could tell there was a downturn of the quality.
But Aladdin's got one of the greatest Robin Williams performances.
Absolutely. And especially with You Never Had a Friend Like Me. The song.
Oh man, that's so good.
Jafar.
Did they even try to redo that for that stupid Aladdin remake? Did he actually try to re-sing that?
Yeah, and they did exactly what I predicted. They're going to turn it into a rap, but people didn't mind, I guess. I was like, whatever. Will Smith did his own thing, I guess.
Dude, I saw the video of Awkwafina doing the rap. I'm like, this is a fucking atrocity.
The girls were watching it last night.
But she did a rap of what? Of the Sebastian song?
One of the songs from the Little Mermaid.
I don't know. It's a totally new rap.
Was it Under the Sea?
No. It was a totally new song. They had Lin-Manuel or whatever come in and write some new tunes.
Oh, my God.
So they can hopefully get an Oscar. Oh, yeah. I've never hid that fact. I believe this is Michelle hanging out there from Force of Light.
Hey, Michelle.
Yeah, I've always been a fan of Little Mermaid. I've never hidden that, especially the music.
Michelle, you missed him educating us about all the My Little Pony dolls, too. He knows all their names.
Light Loafer and all that shit. Matthew Valenti says you should watch the cartoon. It's amazing. It's one of my favorite Disney movies. It was the film that started the Disney Renaissance. Technically, yes and no. Like I said, Oliver and Company was actually Katzenberg's first big push towards that because he brought in, Billy Joel and Huey Lewis and who else was in that? Cheech Marin was in that, and Bette Midler. And God, there was a whole cast of people in that.
It was very well received.
And the music was good. But Oliver was kind of weird because Oliver just kind of went against the grain of, and this is where there was this debate going on Twitter earlier, speaking of Disney films. People are asking, well, when was it that Disney went downhill? And a lot of people are like, oh, sometime after Mulan or whatever. And it's like, well, if you really look at it, the big difference and the big cutoff there for me is kind of, it would be Aladdin, and Lion King is the start of the down. And even though people, the Lion King being the biggest of the bunch financially, I'm like, but that's where they stopped making stories of old fairy tales and mythologies, because Lion King is Hamlet, Pocahontas is a true story-ish, Mulan is a true story-ish, Hercules is a little bit closer to what they used to do. But then they turned around and they did Hunchback of Notre Dame, which is basically like a gothic horror. Like, what the fuck? And then Tarzan to top it all off. People love these movies, and I'm not trying to take, especially people who grew up with them, I'm not going to try and take anything away from you guys on that. But I say that that's the turning point, because that's where like the Little Mermaid, Aladdin, and Beauty and the Beast are all, classic fairy tale stories, mythologies. And like you said, you could throw Hercules in there as a good example too. But the rest of them just technically don't fit with what Disney does. Kind of, sort of, but not really. Robin Hood would be like the closest example I could come to that. But that's still based on an old book, right? So, or old stories. So it's really kind of, I don't know if anybody agrees with that or disagrees with that, but that's kind of my issue with where they kind of changed.
No, I hear you.
Yeah, it's a solid point. For me, my stepping off point was after The Emperor's New Groove. That will remain one of my favorite films.
It is.
That was good. Animation. That was good.
See, there's that era.
I like Pocahontas too. I did like Pocahontas.
What would you call that era basically between Emperor's New Groove and Lilo and Stitch? Like there was
second wind, second wave. I don't know.
Because a lot of those are original. That's the thing.
Yeah, that's what I loved. It was all they all had their own stories, and that's what I mean. And they were basically just shitting out new ideas. It was
Emperor's
awesome.
New Groove actually started as an adaptation of what is it, the Sun God story or something like that. I can't remember which. But then they scrapped that whole thing, and it ended up becoming what it was. Probably Between Brother Bear 2 is another one in that era. Yeah, I see people throwing that one out there.
I think there was a real levity with those films, especially starting with that film, where they just kind of didn't take themselves quite so seriously, but it worked because they were well-written humor.
People are calling it the young adult era, the post-Renaissance. Okay, I can see that. Somebody's phone's going off? I didn't hear it.
Not mine.
Yeah.
Mikey does have to leave us in a few minutes here.
Yeah, let me go ahead and sign off now if it's okay. I gotta check on my dad.
Let me make sure you ain't got none in here for you.
All right, he's fine. I just gotta debrief and stuff with him.
Okay, I think you're good.
All right, and just remember, everybody, for the next show, ignore Twitter. I'm not a YouTuber, but I am what am I, Tom? I'm a national.
You're a national treasure YouTuber.
No, I'm a white
racist.
That's it.
That too.
I'm a
narcissist and a terriblest.
Doggone it, Tom, Miss Connors Jr.
3 p.m. on May 30th.
That looks like a screenshot. Did you actually save that?
Yes.
Oh, for God's sake.
On May 30th at 3 p.m., he finally admitted it.
How did this happen?
I'm going to make that my cover photo.
World's greatest YouTuber.
Yeah. I can only aspire to be.
Right? Love you all. See you on the next show.
Love you, Mikey. Take care, brother. But yeah, thank you, Matthew, and hopefully Six will check it out. I'm curious to Matthew, I think this is I think he's trying to tell you to see the 1980 film right away. I think that's what he's trying to say here. What saw her the 1989 film right away? Hmm? I think he's trying to tell you to see the film as soon as you got excited.
Could be.
I think.
I'm going to. I'll watch the first 20 minutes. Is it on Disney Plus?
Or Dober
probably
Ganja? What show her the 1989 film right away? Unless somebody else in the chat.
I would think it would be on there.
Accident. I'm sorry.
Matthew, take a breath before you start typing so we can best read your wonderful super chats.
That or he's referring to somebody in the chat, maybe.
Dober Begonia.
Is somebody say they have a daughter and they haven't seen it yet? Maybe is that what it was?
Well, what show her is not proper grammar, so I don't know how anyone can.
I don't even
get that, buddy. So why don't you just at me in the chat and we can?
Yeah. You don't have to keep sending super chats, man. That's all right. Thank you though.
Unless you want to.
Appreciate it. Unless you want to.
Yeah.
Tom hasn't given us a Sadie update yet.
Oh, I need to give you a Sadie update. She's not in here right now. I don't know where she's hiding. She's kind of mad at me.
Uh-oh.
Because I ran out of. Well, that's top of the list. But she ran out of pill treats, and since I don't have any way of getting anywhere, I've had to try and hide her pills in other places. So I don't know if she's really mad. Actually, she's probably. You know what? This is a fucking scam. I just figured this out. Because she keeps spitting the pills out, so I got to keep putting it in other treats. She's smarter than I thought. She's like, I keep spitting these out. He just keeps giving me more treats. So I have to find other things to try and hide her pill in that she'll take. And she still manages to like spit half of one out. It's like, you're worse than a child, dog.
Just push him down, Tom.
I can't do that to her though.
Why?
I don't.
Are they
should
crushable?
Still find a way to
like, turn it into a powder.
I should read the thing, but I mean, she does really well with the pill treat things, like the pill pockets. You just buy them and they're smushy, so then she can't really separate them. That's the other thing from what she's eating. That's usually the trick. I'm gonna have to like use peanut butter or something. But anyway, that's the Sadie update. She's not in here right now. Or I'd show a picture. ActionCom says, do you think the reason why King Triton is such a mope is because his wife keeps giving birth to daughters with different ethnic backgrounds? Well, yeah, she keeps sleeping with different like the milkman, the mailman, UPS
there's
guy.
no sex for mermaids. They have to lay their eggs and then the man comes and fertilizes them. So if nobody's guarding the eggs, then it's just free reign for anybody.
I assume a mermaid can put 2 and 2 together. Well, actually, script just told us they can't.
Fish Script is an ichthyologist.
Science. Mecha J says Grace Randolph should get an award for the most mineral gymnastics.
Mental.
I think he means mental, yeah.
Yeah.
For trying to defend the Little Mermaid's life. Oh, yeah. You're probably referring to our recent video.
Oh, Lord, did you?
Andre through. Well, she was hedging a lot of it, or what's the other word I'm looking for? Candy coating and spinning quite a bit. Saying it's a success, but then yet trying to make excuses for Halle Bailey possibly, suffering the wrath of this movie and such. Yeah. Valentine's Tube says, AO6, love ya. What's up with part 2 of Dune? It's coming this year. Y'all see WDW Pro about media disrespecting Walt Disney. Outrageous. Tom, Sega will win in the box office. Well, I hope so for Sega's sake. As far as the Walt Disney disrespecting thing, I have not seen Pro's video yet. Has anybody else here on the panel seen it yet?
Well, I was part of it. We talked about this for about 30 minutes.
Was I there and I forgot?
Nope.
Okay, then I don't feel so
Laid on a script.
Well, basically, this one person was trying to reference the holdouts with regards to unionizing in animation, which was over at Disney almost 100 years ago, trying to equate it to what's happening now, and at the same time trying to throw Walt under the bus because he made promises to his workers prior to them unionizing, wasn't able to deliver. And he was caught between a rock and a hard place, which is that he wanted to be able to do right by his employees, but at the same time, unions in the United States at that period were being co-financed by communists, and he didn't want communism infiltrating his company. So he was caught between a rock and a hard place. And the other part too is that he was very bad at business. And what I had learned since that video dropped, because I had people commenting and DMing me about some of their experiences with the company, and also from legacy people there, is that Disney was a very passionate man who was very encouraging for imagination, but was terrible at business and was not very polite when it came to business. It was Ron that actually did all the balancing and the relationship building and salvaging over there. And yeah, that's that article. That's just a brief summary of what the article is trying to do, trying to make it paralleled to today's fight. But it's far more different because unlike with what's going on today, Walt Disney, when he was making Snow White, the movie that kind of revolutionized the studio, he had to mortgage almost everything he had. Him and his brother had to mortgage almost everything he had to pay for it, so that they could get it released and out to be what it was. And if it didn't work, the entire company would have collapsed. And they were very fortunate that it did. So they put everything on the line for that. And then when they reaped the rewards, they pulled a bad move by breaking the very promise that they made to their staff for basically for basically working overtime without pay, essentially.
Mistakes were made.
Yeah. And got someone, yes, sorry, Roy Disney, not Ron. Ron was the son-in-law later. I get them confused, but they look so much alike.
I didn't even pay attention that much to notice that you got them wrong, but either way.
Yeah.
No, I'll have to check that out.
But I will say this, as far as I know, and I could be mistaken, Disney did not repeat that mistake again when he made promises to his staff regarding profit sharing of future animated projects. But I could be mistaken in that part. But I can't find any stories to corroborate that he made the initial mistake a pattern throughout his time at Disney.
Right. Well, with that, we're pretty much caught up, I think, unless I missed something. Oh, we could talk about the Ezra Miller shit and laugh about it for a minute.
Oh, dude, saying what Andy Muschietti, I think his name is, if I said that right.
It's so sweet and cute.
Was so freaking
the
funny.
Flash is going to get a sequel, yeah.
Yeah, right. Of course, he won't be recast in a sequel. There's not going to be a sequel. There's no reason to recast.
Yeah. Even if there was, all he did was show his hand and where he's at with Ezra. That's all he did.
Did you happen to watch Mr. H's stream script?
No, sorry.
Because I did a. Okay, here, I'll just do it again. I interpreted what Barbara Muschietti was saying here. In principled photography, Ezra was brilliant and most committed, meaning in reshoots, he was a pain in the ass. And he was most professional, meaning he did something unprofessional at some point. Ezra gave everything for his role, physically, creative, and emotionally. The part she left out mentally, which means he went through a mental fucking breakdown during the making of this movie. And they were absolutely supreme, meaning he was a tyrant on the fucking set on top of it all. How's that interpretation?
Yeah.
Wow. Could be possibility.
I'm just being a goof, but...
No, I mean, if there was a code for how you write these
like,
things,
you know, they candy code this shit. Yeah.
I don't get how they're really trying to keep a straight face. Honestly, I just see it's a fluff piece trying to really hype up Ezra, because everyone, even Zack Snyder's most what's a nice word I could say about Zack Snyder's fans? Sims. Thank you. Sims. Zack Snyder's biggest Sims even think Ezra Miller sucks. That should tell you something. They are trying very hard between that, getting celebrity endorsements, saying, look, this guy that you likes this movie. You gotta go see it. They are working overtime right now to get people to see this movie.
I know what is not being said here, and that was David Zaslav's response to this.
Ooh.
They asked him, how did you feel Ezra handled the role? They said, well, he's committed. Like, really? Like, yeah, we put him in the fucking...
Exactly. He's committed, all right.
Should be.
That's why we
you guys got the joke before I could even get to the punchline. Yeah.
Right. Wow.
He's committed. Yes.
Yes.
Oh, you mean he did a great job in the role? No, he's in fucking rehab. That's what I was going to say. So, yeah, like I said, there's not really much to say to this other than, of course, you're going to say this, right?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, what else are you going to say? The other side of this was the whole Sasha Callie business, where she claims that she reached out to Henry Cavill for advice and the current Supergirl as well. And Henry Cavill said he loved the movie.
I doubt
That's the advice she gave her. She gave her.
I bet.
We were debating on that before you even got here, Nick. I think we were talking about what are the actual chances or odds of him actually being able to see this film. We were like, he may have had 1 or 2 chances, but they're probably pretty slim that he actually watched it.
Yeah,
I really don't buy. I mean, now here's the thing. Now let's just say he actually did. Hey, great for him, but I honestly don't buy it. And after hearing Chris Gore go all in on spoilers on Open Bar, let's just say I had about a negative 50% chance of being interested. It could have gone to a 0, and it shot right back down to a negative 100 after what I heard from Chris. Oh boy, there's some stuff that, let's just say, it validates some stuff for not theories for Snyder fans, but just some of the, imagine quotation marks here, logic. And I'm just like, oh, you bastard. So, yeah. I'm not. I wish I could spoil it.
Why is Sasha Callie speaking to Henry Cavill at all?
I know, right?
There's no reason. Okay, I tweeted about this. There is no reason other than for the media to have something to write about with regards to an actor talking to another actor that played either a similar role or was part of a similar franchise in an attempt to get commentary or quote unquote blessing. They auditioned. They won the role. They don't need anyone else's approval. It's their goal is to try and convince the audience that the director and casting director made the right choice.
Yeah. And I love how kind of
these other actors alone. They did their time.
Yeah.
Melissa Benoist, she played Supergirl on a TV show. She's never going to be a movie star. You're rubbing salt in the wound for that reality for her by having this far more attractive woman coming in to play a character that happens to have the same moniker as hers.
Pretty much.
What's next? She's going to talk to Helen Slater.
Well, like I said, this is just as bad.
40 years.
Right. This is as bad as when they keep asking Alicia Silverstone, would you ever play Batgirl again? And they give that poor girl the fucking illusion that she still has a fucking career.
What's her name in the Batgirl movie? Talk to Alicia Silverstone.
Yeah.
I played Batgirl. Like, no, let them do that stuff at a comic convention where they can exchange stories
on their own,
on their own accord with the fans that came there to see them. Don't placate the media industrial complex or try and think that there's some sort of respect or legacy going on with this thing. It's a job for these people. They don't really care. It's like when Gal Gadot had to talk to Linda Carter about Wonder Woman. It was stupid.
Like politics. Yeah.
It is. It's
dumb.
Stupid. It's not important. Unfortunately, Linda Carter was not a producer, writer, director in that first Wonder Woman, so there's no reason for her to do so. Because they brought her in for that little cameo in the sequel, that's when you have a justifiable point where it's like, hey, now we're getting the two Wonder Woman actors together. What are their thoughts? That makes sense because there's actually involvement. There's commodity. There's camaraderie, and there's professional courtesy and respect there. But don't do that. It's like someone.
It'd
it's
be
like
different if they reached out to you, right? But anyway,
yeah,
sorry.
it's like they shouldn't be doing anything of that. It's also like in the same case where like, oh, we had Michael Keaton talk with Adam West about Batman. Why?
I don't think they ever did.
They're not playing. They're maybe playing the same title character, but the completely different roles.
Same thing with Jack Nicholson and the whole thing with the Joker. Like, it was funny because I've heard his story about how awkward it was when Heath Ledger reached out to him.
Really?
Oh.
Yeah.
He's like, why?
Well, he did give him some advice and stuff, but it was just kind of like, you could tell by Jack's retelling of the story how awkward it was. In a sense. And it's got to be awkward for these guys. And Script's right, especially for somebody like, I see exactly where he's coming from, especially with, what's her name? Benoist, however you pronounce it. Benoist or whatever, yeah. Like, the whole thing with her, like, yeah, exactly. You're rubbing salt in a wound that this girl is never going to have the career that Sasha Calle probably will. Because Sasha's 10, 15 years younger than her.
Right.
Playing the movie role version of it in a big blockbuster major movie in a role that she had played on television for a handful of years. You don't see her talking to Helen Slater.
No.
Like, it's just dumb. And it really is kind of demeaning to the other actors, especially somebody like that. It'd be like Ezra Miller talking to
John Wesley Shipp
or the other.
The two did talk to Grant Gustin.
Grant.
They did. Those two did talk because they were on a crossover for the show.
Right. Well, of course he meets it for that. Yeah, I mean.
But that makes sense because it's but they're on a crossover. But I will say this: Stephen Amell actually did something that was quite profound and making sense. Is that The Flash just debuts as a television series, and then Ezra Miller is cast as the character for the feature film, and everybody's talking about him. And Amell is like saying, everybody's talking about Ezra, but we have this guy, Grant, who's started playing the Flash, and he's done the first season, and it did well. Of course, the numbers were a lie, but it did well, and nobody's giving him any attention when he's made efforts to do so. And it's like, yeah, that's the point. Like, the media is trying to play their own version of a popularity contest. And try and bring things together as a talking point for a story because they have nothing else to say.
Well, what I was getting at Script directly is, yeah, I'm sure they did talk during the crossover, but prior to him playing the Flash in BVS and Justice League, I don't think he reached out to him and talked to him about any kind of fucking advice for the role, because at that point, Ezra Miller was already way beyond what Grant was as an actor in his career, right? Like, so why would he do that? And that's the same thing. I don't remember him ever saying that he did, is my point. And that's probably one of the good things, I guess, about him. But it's a publicity bullshit stunt. And half the time, that's what I loved. Like, John Carpenter kind of blew the lid off this thing. He kind of said how this works. He's like, you're going to get, they want it for a soundbite. The people that are making this, they want to feel like they're doing it with the blessing of the original maker, when fuck no, I don't give them my blessing. But what I do get is money, and I don't give a shit. Like, at the end of the day, when he goes, when Rob called me, sure, at the time I told him, make it your own, do your own thing, go for it. Because I didn't want to get in the way of what he was doing. It's not like I was coming back anytime soon. You know, so they were never going to pay me what I wanted, he was saying. So at that point, I had to just let go of it and let them do it. And I think he even said he never even saw Rob Zombie's version of it. He's never even seen it, most of the sequels either.
Yeah.
So
why would he?
In that respect, he's just like, it's the same kind of thing. And they do that to him every single fucking time. There's a talk of a remake of one of his movies. Every time a Halloween movie comes out, poor guy gets asked about this shit. And it's just like, leave him alone. Like if he really wanted to be a part of it, which he finally did come back around to it, he will. You know, if not, leave him alone. Does he give a shit about the Escape from New York remake? No, because he's not fucking making it. That's why. Because he'd rather be making it one of his own movies or not doing anything at all, which is what he's doing. He's doing pretty much exactly what he said he wanted to do for years. He said, I want to retire and get high all day and watch movies in my fucking theater. He's got his own personal screening room.
Oh, he also likes playing music with his kids.
And playing music with his kids, exactly. That's what he wants to do with his retirement. Leave him alone.
Yeah.
Same thing with the rest of these actors. Let them do their thing. Fucking, who cares what Henry Cavill thinks about being erased from Man of Steel? I could tell you how he fucking feels.
Yeah.
He feels like he did when he saw Man of Steel.
He
feels like crap.
What are we supposed to do about it? He can't do anything about it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry, I don't mean to get passionate here, but that's the part with Henry Cavill. It's like, let the guy go.
Oh,
I know there's a lot of people that love him as an actor, love his work as Superman or whatever.
Yep.
But he never got to be Superman in most people's eyes. Let it go. 10 fucking years have gone by now. Nobody else has played the character that long, so just let it go.
It's been not even half a year, and he obviously got let go from James Gunn, Peter Safran, and Zaz.
He was never signed with them, though.
or never signed with them. Okay, regardless of let's just say what you're saying is true, Script. He was hoping that he was going to be the part, and now all of a sudden he finds out he's not. And all of a sudden now we're bringing his name up a few months ago. Oh, look, here's an endorsement. To me, that just adds insult to injury. Because now you're
especially after the way they treated him,
and
not Warner Brothers so much, but just the whole thing in general. Warner should have more. They should have more tact than that.
Warner had so many changes at the head in that 10 years. There's no one that has been there consistently long enough to actually have been able to support Henry Cavill in any way if they actually liked him.
Well, and I said this earlier, Mr. H's. Like the whole test was he was in Black Adam, and that still wasn't enough to get butts in the seats. If there was such a huge Snyder fan base, they would have showed up for that movie. And if they did, that was all there was.
Yeah.
No, very true.
Well, I think it shows you what kind of Snyder base there is. They all did turn out for that movie, and that's it. Yeah, they were there, but it didn't matter.
And they think they're going to tank this movie, and then you have another faction of it. It sounds like who are trying to go support it, just thinking it's going to save the Snyderverse. At the same, just let it go, guys. It's done. Enjoy this for what it is, as a swan song, as a one and done. Who gives a fuck about Aquaman at this point? They should just drop it on HBO Max.
Yeah.
Seriously, at this point, like, who fucking cares?
You mean Max?
Yeah. I mean, the worst kept secret in Hollywood is that he's playing Lobo. Like, let's be real here.
I'm looking forward to whatever is the equivalent of hashtags in 2035 and whatever's the YouTube of that time. Guys, there's still a chance. Zach's 80. He can barely walk and talk, but he wrote on a piece of paper that he thinks he's still going to do it.
Oh, no, that's true. But this is the other part, too, is Lobo is going to be the first time Jason Momoa is actually going to stand out as an actor.
You're probably right. Yeah. And Dr. Coffin Nails, I know a lot of people say this, too, but that's just it. I saw the movements myself, right? I have Twitter. It was a mess from the jump. That's the problem.
It was.
These people were all hyped up on him. They knew that him being there was part of the game, and it still didn't bring him to the theater.
Yeah, they knew. Anybody who was a Snyder butt knew he was going to be in it.
I get why they released this movie. With how far out that it was done, but they gotta just, after this, just let it go, cut all ties, start fresh, and hopefully that's what this movie does. Because unless someone's I don't even want to think about seeing this right now, but I already know what happens. But I just hope it really, puts a nod on everything so we can move on to a point where you can't even try to interpret. Oh, hey, look, there's still a chance. Just move forward
and
let's get to Superman Legacy and see what happens from there on out.
And not everybody is, was in this, Dr. Coffin-Nails, to be fair, not everybody knew the kind of stuff that we were talking about at the time too. They still felt like there was some false hope for this thing. So, and again, I understand at the end of the day why James Gunn and Safran are going to pretty much do a reboot on this whole thing, because they do not want any baggage going into it. And that way no blame can be put on anybody but James at the end of the day.
Oh, yeah. I mean, the fact that The Flash is not the final movie means that they have to kind of set up Aquaman so that people go see it in December. And having no idea that a year later, when Superman Legacy comes, none of those people are going to be around in those roles anymore.
Aquaman should have come out last month.
Yeah.
Yeah, it should have. It's so
I don't
dumb
even understand why they're hanging on to
it
it at this point. It's done. I don't even know why. It makes no sense.
Maybe
they've had to keep reshooting it. What was that?
Maybe they wanted to avoid the bottlenecking of all these other bigger movies coming out.
Or the underwater theme. You'd have Avatar, Little Mermaid, and Aquaman.
Maybe. Yeah. Well, that was why they moved it in the first place, and I guess they were smart about that, was to get it out of Avatar's way. But honestly, I'm still not sure Avatar would have done as well had it had something to compete with it like that. But at the end of the day, Aquaman has one window. I hear kittens.
It's
my cat. It was a dog.
And I'm not going to mute. So
no, you're fine. I just
you don't like cats. Fuck you.
Do I like cats? Give me a break.
No, I meant like anybody complaining in chat. If you don't like cats, fuck you.
Sounds like a kitten. So who's gonna hate a kitten? But anyway, we're gonna be heading out here though. We've got a show tonight, right, Nick? We're gonna talk about Heartbreak Ridge.
Oh, you damn right we are. We're going to talk about it.
One of the most toxic movies we've ever done, man.
Dude, yeah, it is. And
I didn't realize it until I watched it again last night. I'm just like, holy shit.
I know.
I can't believe I saw this movie on television so many times as a kid. It had to be cut to shit.
This movie would not come out, Tate, not just because of the dialogue, but just because of the amount of men that are in it alone would not.
Well, not only that, like, what's funny is as a kid, when I was a kid on TV, they wouldn't have cut out the one F word, that's for sure. So there's plenty of those in there too. I'm like, holy crap. Like, people are throwing that around like nobody's business. It's like within the first few lines, I think somebody says it.
Oh yeah, no, right off the bat, it's within the first few minutes of the movie. But no, I'm excited to talk about it. It's gonna be great, and anything talking Clint Eastwood's always fun. And yeah, it's a very toxic movie. And like honestly, the main reason I did is because you and I were entertaining like a kind of post Memorial Day thing. But then watching, I'm like, oh hey, I guess this one was just meant to be. Because watching, I didn't realize it even then. Because I've watched the movie since I was a teenager, and I didn't realize at the time it was a toxic movie. I was just enjoying it, I guess for the patriotic, militaristic aspect. But now I see it in the huge toxicity line. So yeah, that's gonna be in 15 minutes. Chat, please come on out and hang out. We're gonna have a blast talking about it. And thank you for having me, Tom. Good hang out this crew, and thank you to our mods and chat. Thanks for supporting MEAD.
Indeed. Excellent. Like the Jackson 5, I'll be there. And since Script has to leave us soon, why don't you jump in there, Script, and plug what you got to plug?
Yeah, so I'll just say I dropped my review of The Legend of Conan on my Patreon, which is accessible on the main tier level. And for anyone who's interested, you can sign up with a 7-day free trial on that tier level, so you can read the review and all the back catalogs of posts that I've made since I started the Patreon there. I also have a YouTube channel, youtube.com/scriptdoctor, and you can follow me at Twitter at scriptdoctorphd. I also want to do a little plug for a good friend of the channel, Tom Conkle. He has just launched a video, 4-minute one, over on his channel on The Real Deal with Tom Conkle. I guess he's starting a daily log about his pre-productions for his science fiction film, which script I have read, called Island in the Stars. So just going to pull up that link there and put it in the chat for everybody.
It is very far. Venus in between. Haven't you seen? Yeah, you could go ahead and share the link. Oh, we had a couple super chats and member chats here. I missed. Matthew Valente says, also the first Little Mermaid, if you watch it, it's not just a feminist story. It's also about independence as well as growing up. Yep. Yeah. Jesus Davila sends us a thumbs up. If you haven't hit that thumbs up yet, please do. And then Doug 1985 has been a member for 1 month at the maximum effort puppy level and says, drop Aquaman 2 on HBO Max. Well, it's just Max now.
But we get your point.
Yeah. And then this will lead you to Nick's program right afterwards. CC, what you got going
on? Friday night karaoke, as always. That's pretty much it.
All right. Clobby, what you got going on?
Well, I guess tomorrow night, I think if Loki's having the comic book roundtable, I'll be there with him at 7 Eastern. 7 Central, sorry. And then my usual wild card Wednesday tomorrow night at 9 Central. And then the Raquel and Mark and I for the Clubhouse on Thursday night at 9. And then there's Saturday night Star Trek at also 9 p.m. Central Standard Time. And I think, Nick, did you forget something?
That's funny you mentioned. I wrote in the private chat. This Friday night is the 100th episode of our Comic Shop Talk that Mr. Clobby. And for those of you who know Pablo of Midnight's Edge Espanol and a few of our other great friends, we do a Friday night comic show. And basically we just talk about comic books, the actual source material that inspired all your movies and shows that you love or don't love today. And we talk about over drinks. We've been doing it for 99 episodes, and this episode will be episode 100. So please, if you haven't watched the Comic Shop show, now's a great time to start by this Friday night to join us. Yeah, 8:30 p.m. Central. It's a fun. Tom's been there, show off his cool movie comic books.
Yeah.
So that was fun. So
you got 99 shows and Twitch ain't one of them.
Yeah. Gary, go ahead and finish, Clobby.
No, I'm good. That's one of them. I didn't want to steal your thunder, but I'm always there with you, and congrats on it, brother, and looking forward to it.
I do. It's your show, my show as much as yours, dude. So love having you with me.
Thanks, bro.
That's the sound of an AK-47 assault weapon, the preferred weapon of your enemy. So remember it.
It's also a very reliable weapon too.
Overcome. I love that movie. Seriously.
6, anything you got coming up?
Not till Friday. Loki's late night show. And
if Mikey shows up.
And then Culture's late night show Sunday night. And awesome. Tomorrow, of course, Midnight's Edge in the morning.
Yeah, I wonder what we'll be talking about, but
I bet it'll be Little Mermaid.
Probably.
Who knows? We should stop wasting breath on that.
I know. Well, hopefully something else happens soon.
Well, you know what? Sometime tomorrow, that we should be seeing in the trades preliminary details regarding the Directors Guild of America possibly striking because their contract ends on Friday.
Yep, there's that.
Or sorry, Thursday. On Thursday. So hopefully we'll find out what happens.
And that, we should be starting to see some early reactions to Spider-Verse soon here too, because that drops on the 2nd of June. So, indeed. All right. With that, kids, see you on Toxic Tuesday. This will lead you there. Take care of yourselves and each other, and I'll see you in the morning program as well. Peace.
Bye.
And if you don't like my politics, don't buy my book.